YouTube reaction right now. Go ahead and skip ahead 3 minutes. Woo! Let's have some fun tonight, Jace. Talk
I
some
don't know if
Hornets
that's going to happen,
basketball.
Carter, but
I mean,
I
Hornets
got
beat the
something tonight.
Mavs.
Perhaps an aneurysm. Hornets are nasty. Too bad it's gonna all come crashing down tomorrow night for them.
You're about to
Heading
learn
into-
so much. You're about to
heading into
learn so much
Boston.
about what good basketball is all about. Ethical hoops.
Ethical hoops. There's not a single thing ethical about the Charlotte Hornets.
Brother, you're not watching ball then. You just expose yourself.
I'm talking about off the court, brother. That was an off the court.
That's the old Hornets. We're clean and crisp now.
Miles Bridges is still on that team.
Miles Bridges hasn't done anything in a while.
Carter.
Let's rock and roll.
That's an off the pod thing.
Chat's already right here.
Just had a hit and run, dude.
Shout out Colson in the chat. He said, "We suck. I'm so depressed." We'll get
Me too,
into
Colson.
It. What do you mean?
You will see Carter and I drinking on this podcast.
No,
non-alcoholic beverages, of course.
Come on in. Come on in. Come on in.
YouTube's
not my day
Carter.
from Alex. Barca short on the comeback. Hey, it's okay, buddy. Liverpool choked the Wolves today. I didn't even get to catch the game because Bruce Branch committed. Fadeaway Clay nailed it. That's what I'm going to start with. But,
dude, Carter, rule number 1, you never acknowledge you're stealing a.
I mean, it's
a chat.
We've said it 8 episodes in a row. Blend Beast in the chat is swearing aloud. By all means. YouTube is tweeted. Chase. I am ready to roll. Except my phone is bugging out right now. Closer than I expected. Tyler Morris, Moo Davis, Abdul Ahmed get ready to learn Mississippi Valley State. BYU doesn't deserve to make the tournament once they lose to Texas Tech. It's NIL tourney from. Yeah,
it's not, but I kind of wish it was.
I liked your. I just saw your tweet, Chase, that Tony Padilla gets paid hourly.
Thank you.
He's like, I'm trying to miss my connecting flight. He's probably gonna be at like UVU tomorrow for some reason. Anyhow, all right, you ready, Chase?
Yeah. Just kidding. I am ready. Let's go.
I don't know why this is doing this still. All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this thing. Let me know when you're ready, Chase.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Oh, okay. 3, 2, 1. We're live. We are live right now. BYU, once again, gets smoked. No surprise. They get the doors blown off of them. 90-68 on the road at Cincinnati. The desperate Bearcats, the desperate Wes Miller, coaching for his literal life right now. Buddy, you live to see another day, Wes Miller. They defeat BYU. BYU is broken, Chase. There's no other way to put it. That's why this is the title of the episode. This team is officially broken.
Yep. Season is looking bleak. We can say wait until March all we want, but the writing's on the wall, and we kept tricking ourselves into seeing what happens next game. I'm ready to call it. Obviously, we're going to watch this team play in the Big 12 tournament. They're going to play in the NCAA tournament. But the season's a failure. It's over. Barring some miracle, this is wildly disappointing. And it's a tough watch. And I have a hard time even watching this team play basketball, Carter. As a basketball fan in general, not even as a BYU fan, as someone who just loves the game of basketball, this has taken that love away. It has robbed me of my passion for the game every time I watch this Cougar team take the floor. thankfully, I have other teams to go and watch, like my Boston Celtics. Shout out Jason Tatum coming back on Friday, potentially. But I don't even know what to say. This is awful.
Yeah,
they're legitimately a bad basketball team, Carter.
They're a bad basketball team. They're broken. There's no fight. You watch this game once again, Chase. I could have texted you 30 seconds into the game started, and you knew the result. They don't fight over screens. There's no fight in this team. They're done. These guys are looking on other things. Put on 3, 1, 2, 3, Cancun. That's what this team is at this point. There's no other way to put it. Like, I watched the game and I'm numb to the fact. And people in the chat right now, BYU fans, they go, well, okay, if the players on the court don't care, why on earth should I care? And they have a great point. Why on earth should you care? If this is the product you're putting out there, if this is the attitude you're going to come out on the court with, maybe you see something different on Saturday. Maybe you say, okay, one last time in the Marriott Center, AJ and Rob go bananas. I don't know if it's Rob's last game or not in the Marriott Center, but I'm saying for AJ's sake, at least, go out senior night, have, throw some haymakers against Texas Tech. Maybe you get up in that game. But like I've almost like never seen a team this, like, I don't know, like you can say, oh, they'll turn on a switch in March, but it's like, okay, who cares? Like, who cares?
If they turn on a switch in March, I'd care, and it'd be a little bit fun.
But it's
not happening.
Yeah.
There's no switch. What switch can they pull? They just gave up 90 points to the worst offense in the conference after letting West Virginia score a dang near season high. The second worst offense in the conference. This is the worst defense I have seen in a very long time from a team with this kind of expectations. It is legitimately terrible. And the peel and switch might as well be called point and stand, because that is all that they do. All that they have to do if you're an offensive team against BYU is run a simple ball screen. A simple ball screen, and it is barbecue chicken. It's game over. You can have any shot you want on the court. 3 mid-range. You can dump it off to the center. He will get either a foul or a bucket. Congratulations. You just beat BYU.
You know the Mr. Krabs meme where like he's just spinning and looking everywhere and just lost? Every time someone sets a ball screen on BYU, that's all it is. And then because when they set that ball screen, there's no plan of what you're going to do. And then the amount of times I just watch people tonight just point, they'd get screened and then they just brush off, not even try and fight over, and they just point like, hey, switch that. And everyone's like, what? Oh, wide open shooter. There's no communication.
That's all
There's no plan. Yeah. There's no effort. There's no fight. And like at this point, like even AJ's body language wasn't great tonight, but like I don't even blame AJ at this point. He's given it his all, every ounce of it. Everyone else on this team, man, they just don't. There's just nothing there.
Yeah, like, it's pathetic. It's look. I'm not blaming these players. Okay, I'm blaming the players. It's their fault. Injuries happened. Whatever. You got knocked down a couple times.
Hold up. Before, I know you're going here. Shout out Shooting a Rock. At least AJ might come back.
Hey. Hey. Wait a second.
I don't care.
The season is saved. Yeah, let's crack these open. We said that we would just get drinks out for this game, regardless of the outcome, because it's been a long season. But this is the most fitting outcome. You want a little ASMR here, folks? Come on, I'm gonna pop open this can. This will be nice.
Oh, that sounded good. That sounded nice.
Come on, that was pretty nice. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was. Alex Beach said Kostic looked all right in stretches. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, congrats, Kostic. You get to stay on the team next year.
Yep, that's
all this has been.
Yep, this has been a tryout for next season. Fadeaway Clay said, I laughed out loud when AJ hit Kaba in the head with that perfect pass on the pick and roll in the first half. And you just see AJ just go, seriously, man? Seriously? Like, it's... Yeah. We'll find out later on after the season. Maybe we just look back and we just go, wow, man. Like, Richie Saunders was really holding a lot together.
A ton together. on every facet. I think defensively we didn't realize what kind of holes he was covering up, and now that he's gone, they've been completely stripped away and completely exposed.
Chase, you go through Cincinnati tonight, where they shot 50% from the field, 43% from three. They shoot what, 32% on average from three.
Yeah,
typically.
Yeah,
you let them shoot 43.5%, and it goes back to like the UCF game and the West Virginia game where they're just doing these half-hearted closeouts. And I said it before, where if you're a shooter, you'd rather have someone give you a half-hearted closeout than have a wide open shot, because then there's no pressure on you, so it looks contested, but you're still in rhythm and it's not affecting you at all. So it's actually helping these guys out. You look at the starting five for Cincinnati tonight: 12 points, 18 points, 15 points, 18 points, 16 points. And the only player that wasn't shooting 50% of above was Day Thomas, who finished 3 of 10, still had 12 points, 6 assists, and 0 turnovers.
Did the whole team have 0 turnovers? I don't think I recognize one. I know
7 total turnovers by the Bearcats, 15 by the Cougars.
Yeah, I was being a bit facetious, but it wasn't even competitive. I mean, it was literally, you kind of thought maybe BYU does their little second half surge here. We've gone past that point. It went from BYU gets down early, they come back and win these games, to BYU gets down early, they come back, they get really close to winning these games, to BYU gets down early, they come back and they make it a game, and they kind of get themselves back in it. And now we're at the point where BYU gets down and then they get destroyed. We completely devolved. Completely quit. And look, I got to give some credit to AJ. I got to give a lot of credit to AJ. The way this season's gone, he probably, of all people, deserves to quit more than anyone. I don't think anyone actually deserves to quit, but you know what I'm saying. And as bad as he was, 6 of 20 tonight from the field. It was 7 of 21. It was not pretty. I still saw him give the most amount of effort on the court. Yep. Like, he still played defense as hard as he could. Is he playing it great? No. I mean, he's getting lost on a lot of things too. But I still saw the most amount of effort from him. I think Boop gives that effort. I thought Kaba still gave that effort. And I think Diamande, with the minutes he got, he understood his role. He gave effort. Shout out to Kostic for showing some semblance of offense. And I'm glad he feels a little bit more comfortable now. I wish it wasn't in these circumstances, obviously, them getting killed every game now when he plays somewhat good. But collectively, as a team, the effort, the attitude, the heart, the hustle, it's just gone. And with that, they just aren't very smart as well. They are not basketball savvy. They do not understand their space on the floor on either side. Either side of the court, because on offense they get clunky and slow, and on defense they're completely lost in switches, help side. It's just not there for this team, and they covered it up a ton early on because they have elite offensive scorers in Rob Wright and AJ Devanza, and they had Richie Saunders, one of the best shooting guards in the entire country, and they were covering it up, and they were finding ways to win, and they were doing it. And then Richie goes down. And even before Richie went down, this team was cracking and starting to show major flaws. And now it's all completely come apart. And to the point where you and I both felt confident to pick Cincinnati in the preview. We didn't see it like this, 22 points. But we both looked at each other and said, without discussing beforehand, Cincinnati's going to win. We've seen the story from BYU. We're done being tricked. And that's the point with this team, which is very sad.
Chase, I went into the preview. I said, prove me wrong. Make me look stupid. But otherwise, I'm going to be right about this team. And I'm just going to continue with it. I've never seen a team just this dejected and this careless and have this kind of lack of focus going into March Madness, because the weird part is BYU could lose their next 2 games by 45 points. They're still going to the tournament. Maybe they drop down to a 10 seed at this point because it's looked this bad at this point, but they're still going to the tournament. No ifs, ands, or buts, no matter what they're in. But, do they even want to go? Do they want to be there?
I don't I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think they want to go. I think they might be actively trying to find a way to miss that tournament. I would not be surprised.
I think especially playing on a glass court in Kansas City next week.
Jack, you legitimately need to cancel your trip. I'm sorry.
He already did. He already did.
Good.
He already
Good,
did.
Good. Good. Just come over.
Yeah.
Let's just watch together, dude.
If BYU if you're a BYU fan and you're planning on going to Kansas City, if you booked non-refundable travel, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. You deserve a refund from BYU personally. You're not gonna get that, but
hey, lower level, $7.
Hey, I mean, it could be the cheapest ticket you could have all season to see the Cougs, especially that close.
Yeah.
Man.
Going into the tournament, Chase, there is only one team and one team only I think BYU can beat at this point. And that is the North Carolina State Wolfpack, because they're in the same boat right now, baby. They want this season to end. I guess they're in the tournament at this point. Give me the 7-10 matchup between the Pack and the Cougars, and let's see an over-under of 200 points in that game. Nobody plays a lick of defense, and let's play ball, because that's what it would be. I mean, if you're a team right now, you're licking your chops getting ready to play BYU. Like, at first, for a while, we tricked ourselves being like, oh, BYU going into the tournament, you're scared because they got AJ and Rob Wright, and that's still going to be the case. But you'd think they'd turn it on in March, but I just don't know if it's there.
I don't know if it's there. I'm 99% sure it's not there. I've seen what I've seen on the court. I can't unsee it. The Iowa State game feels like months ago. It feels like it was 3 months ago in a completely different team. It's frustrating, but we're objective on this show, and we got to be honest with what we see. And we just see no heart. They've given up. I think they're ready to pack it in. Well, do they have an impressive game here once in a while? And maybe they come out senior night and do something in Provo. Maybe they have a Big 12 tourney something.
Texas Tech looked lost tonight against TCU, but TCU once again was the more desperate team. That's how it goes at this time of the year.
Yeah, but I wouldn't give BYU that excuse with Cincinnati tonight.
No,
and I know you weren't trying to, but I'm just saying.
No, I mean, Cincinnati was definitely more desperate and everything, but I'm curious to see what happens on Saturday for senior night. Maybe they turn it on a little bit. You're looking at a point now, because I believe last time I checked, they were getting killed by Colorado. So therefore, we are staring at a potential Utah-BYU Tuesday matchup in the Big 12 tournament.
In which case, I legitimately would pick Utah. Beating a team 3 times is really tricky. BYU clearly doesn't care. That would be Utah's, their one shining way to end the season is a win over BYU. That'd be disgusting, but we don't need to talk about that until it happens.
I do have news for you, Chase.
Let's hear it.
If BYU wins on Saturday and West Virginia loses one more game, then yes, it will be BYU-Utah as it stands.
No matter what? Wow.
There's some other results, but that's the most likely scenario right now. That's if they beat Texas Tech. If they lose, then it's going to be BYU versus Kansas State.
Man, oh man, we will know on Saturday. 4 short days.
This team can't finish above 500 in the Big 12 at this point. They are currently 8-9, and then they could finish 8-10 if they lose to Texas Tech on Saturday, which they will probably be underdogs in. It's disappointing. They're going to finish this season 20-10, 20-11, going into the postseason.
Man. All right. There's some good chats in here, Carter.
Yeah, let's rock and roll with the chats. We broke down the game.
Shine.
We could have broken down the game in 30 seconds. BYU didn't have any effort tonight. Didn't have any fight. Cincinnati did. End the story.
Shout out Cincinnati. They played well. And senior night for those guys. Congrats.
And hey, shout out Wes Miller. I want Wes Miller at Wake Forest.
Yeah, big Wake Forest fan. Carter Vaughn. He wants Wes Miller there. All right, a lot of KY stuff going on in the chat right now, Carter.
Let's address it from this top. If you're I get your frustrations with KY. I understand the expectations you had with this team this year. But guess what? There's the reason you had expectations was because of Kevin Young. This stuff happens. You have a bad season. Now, if this continues, for 1-2 more seasons, then okay, let's have some discussion. But guess what? Bruce Branch committed to BYU today. Only reason you got that guy because of KY. AJ DeBanza plays on this BYU team. Why? Because of KY. Richie Saunders, it was still on this BYU team. Why? Because of KY. Otherwise, he would have been in a Kentucky jersey playing for Mark Pope. The reason BYU is even in this spot with expectations is because of Kevin Young. I get the frustration. I understand how annoying it can be. But at some point, it's got to be on the players more than the coach, in my opinion.
I think that's well said, and this is a great comment by our guy CJ Smith. Being frustrated with KY is completely irrational. Calling for him to be fired is totally irrational. Very, 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 very well said.
It's stupid. It's not. It's just flat out stupid.
No, this is the guy. It's never been better right now to be a BYU fan. I tweeted that. Some people in my comments are not enjoying that I said that. And look, tonight does not back that up. But trust me, this is better than losing to Pepperdine. This is better than another 6 seed that's going to go and lose to Duquesne, right? And we just landed a 5-star top 6 dude in the class. Like, this is still so much better. I'm not saying that we should just be like happy with what this is, because fans and themselves, no one's harder on themselves than the team, are very disappointed in this season. It's been a failure, but cards were stacked a little bit against you. Injuries did not help. And I understand that you're going to be frustrated with KY, and I think that's absolutely valid, like CJ said. I'd also be very frustrated in like the assistant coaches, some of the things that you entrusted to these guys, because KY is an offensive guy, and I think he lets, for the most part, the defensive side of the ball go to other people on the staff. And so I definitely think there will be some shakeups coming in the offseason to the coaching staff. KY will obviously not be one of them. But also, we had problems with the offense, right? We're in December and January. We're talking about what can this offense do to get out of this rut, right? And how it's so one-on-one centric. And so KY needed to be blamed for that and to take a lot of responsibility. And I don't even know if it was fully fixed. It clearly wasn't, but the fact that the defense has been so awful has overshadowed the offensive problems. But KY has our endorsement 100%.
Yep.
I'm not going to call something after 2 years to to even remotely change. This is the dude. It's still better than it has ever been. I promise. And I think next season will prove a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking at the press conference right now. He said after the game, basically where he's like, you have to give Wes Miller credit. He was feeling a month ago like I'm feeling now. It's a telling quote. If you know where Wes Miller's head space was a month ago, it was not good. He was sitting there having to apologize to fans before games.
In the concourse.
The concourse, yeah. And after.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati fans are wearing bags on their head. Big turnaround for Wes Miller.
A lot of people in the chat are going off about saying, Dallin Hall should still be here and Cannon Catching should still be here and everything. First off, I'll go with the Cannon Catching's point. That marriage just didn't work. It was a fine breakup for both people, and the Dallin Hall piece of it as well. Look, you're bringing in a guy like Rob Wright. Dallin wasn't going to be willing to come off the bench, nor should he. He's too good to come off the bench in college basketball. He's a Division I point guard, and look, it's a great fit for him at Virginia. I don't think this BYU team is in a different spot just because they have Dallin Hall running the show. And if Dallin Hall is in over Rob Wright, I definitely don't think it's different. That's not the problem here.
No, BYU is worse if Dallin Hall's playing over Rob Wright. I don't mean that as disrespect to Dallin Hall, because I love that guy.
Yeah.
But you nailed it. Dallin was never going to come off the bench. If Dallin was coming off the bench to this BYU team, 100% they'd be better. But that was never, ever, 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 ever going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well said, CJ.
From Adam Kelly, he said, this has been a great learning experience for KY. Let's not forget Kansas the last 2 years, free falling at the end of the year. I mean, talk about right now if you saw Kansas tonight. Also, Arizona State upset Kansas. I was watching as we were going live. The worst court storm I've ever seen. They looked like they were just walking onto the court. Like, what are we doing here?
Really?
It was awful. One of the worst court storms I've ever seen.
We'll see. I mean, I got to get that clip on. I love it, though.
I will say, going back to a point, someone said in the chat where they were like, yeah, people are upset with, the defense and all that kind of stuff. But I got to agree with people in the chat right now, too, where the offense has been very, very disappointing quite a bit this season, where it has been the take your turn offense, and they never figured out a flow. They never figured out an identity with this offense. I don't know if that's as much as schematic issues or if that's just the players you have around your top guys.
Yeah. Because, look.
It's probably a mix of both.
Yes, and I don't want to dump on these guys. But look at what AJ is working with. And tell me that this was a winning basketball team. I know we on this podcast drove some kind of memey narratives around. I'm not trying to back out of that. I think we can take accountability and say that we were wrong as well.
I would do that 10 times out of 10, though.
Exactly.
You're giving me a good meme opportunity. If let's just say I had a lot in the chamber if Brody Kozlowski was playing this year. The Wizard of Koz would have been everywhere.
We had a great nickname lined up, but didn't happen. Look, man, at this point, and we won't talk a ton about next season stuff, although maybe we will, because I'm kind of sick about talking this season. At this point, you're keeping, 4 guys max you even want to be on this team. Like this roster wasn't it. And that's on the coaching staff. It's on the recruiting that they recruited these guys. They spent the money where they spent the money, but this roster was never going to get it done.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfair that, how do I want to put this? Hubert Davis has taken a lot of crap over the last few years for his inability, his lack of ability with roster construction. And he struggled with that. He struggled with the portal. And then he brought in a GM. They've been better this year. I mean, Caleb Wilson's been a huge addition with that. But even then, the high school ranks, they've been good as well. So you got to give credit to him figuring out this year. But before that, Hubert took so much crap year after year after year for what he brought in. And maybe that was different people and staff. Whatever. I'm not trying to throw blame at anybody. But when this is looked at, it's gonna fall on Kevin Young at the end of the day for the poor roster construction.
Yeah. As it should. He's the one. He's running the team, man. This is college basketball. That's your job. They missed on the transfer portal in almost every way. And now it's time to reevaluate here in a couple of weeks, whenever the season ends, and hit it hard because they're going to need it next year too. I think they're going to need to have some tough conversations with some guys and tell them that they should probably look for some new opportunities, and they're going to try to figure out. But
I think quite a few guys are already talking about their next opportunity, Chase.
I think they are too. I think their agents are. I
think their agents are doing around for maybe a bit now.
Yeah,
that's how college sports works.
Yeah,
it's funny though because going by kind of behind the scenes of how it all works and everything. Like an example, like a guy like Caleb Foster at Duke last year. I'm sure his agent was actively talking to other schools, getting his name out there, saying, "I'm hitting the portal right after the season." Duke goes on a March Madness run. He is kind of a key role player in that, builds some morale, gets back in the good graces of the coaching staff, and all of a sudden Caleb Foster comes back to Duke. A tournament run would solve a lot of that, but I just don't see a tournament run happening for this team, so it doesn't matter.
No, yeah.
But I just think it's something it's funny to point out where it's like how quickly this stuff shifts and everything.
Yeah. Wise Gamora says I transfer out next season. Best of luck, Wise Gamora. We wish you nothing.
Have fun in Salt Lake City with Alex Jensen, brother.
I know he's always just joking. That's a good comment,
No,
though.
I know. It was funny. It was
A lot
funny.
of Rob talk. I see where people are coming from. I know Rob's been frustrating. I would love to see Rob not have to play 40 minutes a game. I'd love to see Rob being backed up by Nate Pickens, what his season could have been. I also saw Rob drop dang near 40 multiple times and carry BYU on his back in spots. Rob Wright is an awesome point guard, and I'll stand by that for the rest of my life.
I would love to see Rob play with a 2 guard that, look, I just don't think Moo Davis was the right pairing with Rob Wright in this lineup in this team, if we're going to be 100% honest. And maybe he can find his way elsewhere if he does leave BYU after this season. But I just don't think that was the right pairing with Rob. I think it would have been great to have another ball handler with Rob and also someone that can – and that was the idea with bringing Moo in, but he just hasn't brought it on the defensive end enough where – look, I understand there are problems with Rob's defense. He does get hunted. He is a smaller guy and everything. But – I would like to see having another 2 guard who could take on that role and give Rob a bit of a breather and a bit of, okay, I don't have to bring the ball up every time. It's not on my shoulders every single time. He's so dang talented. I just don't think this team was put together in the right way where it gelled. And they never found that chemistry. I don't know why. I don't know how. I'm not in the building every day. I'm not with the coaching staff. For some reason, it didn't work out, but Rob is so freaking talented. I understand. I understand why people are frustrated with Rob. I get it, but I really don't think Rob's the problem here.
I think it's been bad in spots, but I also think, like I said, he's been amazing in spots. But Davis Herrera makes a good point. The passing has not been what was advertised for Rob, and he needs to be better, and I think that's something that he needs to absolutely work on in the offseason. If he's back at BYU or not, I don't know. But the scoring as a guard from him, I mean, he's still shooting over 40% from 3. The way he gets to the basket, the finishing needs work too. He's still as talented as you'll see in the sport.
Yeah, Chase, you say he's had bad spots too, but outside of AJ, and AJ's been unbelievable this season and everything, who hasn't looked bad at spots this year? I mean, obviously everyone's going to look bad at some point. It's basketball. You're going to have bad nights, but I think it's kind of a scapegoat to put it all on Rob. It's a mix of everything, man. And that's the harsh reality of it. Where I know everyone wants to pinpoint to one player, get him out. That's the issue. The pinpoint to the coach. It's just a mix of everything. It's the injuries. It's guys didn't fit well together. Nobody stepped up. Nobody. The chemistry never developed. The fight wasn't there. It's funny, Chase, because we talk about, like, I remember we did the pod. I was in Rock Hill, South Carolina after that Villanova game, and you were saying, like, this team needs to go on like a retreat together. They need to go camping together. They need a some bonding experience together.
Young boy concert.
A young boy concert. Shout out Jack.
It never happened.
The chemistry never developed this year. It fooled us in spots when guys were hot, and when shots are falling, I mean, heck, you can play with anybody on the court. You're going to have a good time when shots are falling. That's basketball. But going back to the point as well, everyone's saying Rob's defense is horrendous and he's limited by his height. That's where I can understand that. That's where I can say, look, I get the limitations with his height. I still think there is a lot there. There's so much there. He's so freaking talented. I just don't think the system and how he was implemented in this team this year was maybe the best fitting. I don't know, but it's maybe it was 2 years in a row it wasn't the best fitting for him. Maybe it's just Rob. I don't know. Maybe.
I'm willing to be proven wrong, but as far as talent goes on the offensive end of the floor, you can't deny the ball handling, the shooting, and everything. A lot of good comments here.
Yeah, keep going with the chat. I don't need to keep talking.
No, I wanted to get to some. They're falling now, but everyone's making really good points about Rob. I think it's right. Davis Herrera says, and I want to move on to this. I feel bad for AJ. He low-key has 4 guys defending him every play. There's been some talk about money, whatever, all this stuff. AJ was worth every penny, despite how this season is gone. Despite whatever this season turns into, if it's a round of 64 exit, I do not care less. AJ was worth every single penny. I still think he's the best player to come through the draft. He should be the number 1 pick. He's going to be a star in the NBA. He was worth everything. In fact, you got a bargain on him. Like a bargain. He's amazing and is going to represent BYU for years and is doing amazing stuff off the court and all that stuff.
And the point is, it's not convenient reporting for people because it doesn't fit their narrative. But AJ was offered the exact same amount of money from Alabama, the exact same amount of money from North Carolina as BYU gave him, and he chose BYU. And you're going to hear other reporters and other people say, "Oh, that's not true," or people from Carolina. No, that is the fact that he was offered the same amount of money elsewhere. He chose BYU because of Kevin Young. And look, I feel bad for him too, man. Like, you watch tonight, you just go, dude, he's still trying to just go out there and make plays and get shots and everything. It goes back to like when he tried to run the pick and roll and just popped off Caba's face. It's just plays like that where it's like, what more can you do, man? I can understand him being disheartened.
And he's coming back next year, says Shoot the Rock. Shout out. Guys,
that guy, I don't remember the guy's name that was doing the interview. Great quote, man, because that's the game right there. You want to get the engagement. So awesome
congrats,
stuff.
Dude. Yeah.
But we're good.
Let me squash it now. AJ's not coming back.
No, dude, don't say that. Don't say that. No, dude.
No, some people on the internet. Look, I know that we're not. Some people believe this, and that's fine. I know the internet is meant to do these things.
Chase, stop.
AJ's not coming back, folks. Neither was Yegor, and neither will Bruce Branch.
I give the Yegor stuff a little bit more credit because Yegor actually, like, there was a real chance he could have come back. But Yegor was also, like, his range was from, 6 to 25 in the draft. Like, AJ's range is 1 to worst case scenario 3.
Worst case scenario. Jack says, AJ, I stayed at BYU too. It's awesome, man. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Oh, dude. Andrew's sister-in-law's husband owns his housing. He renewed his contract.
No, dude,
insider info.
Dude, he signed up for John By the Way's religion class in the fall, dude. He's coming back.
It's his favorite class.
Yeah, man, let's talk a little bit about next year so we can not talk about this anymore because there's nothing more to break down. What's more to break down?
No, there is.
Until we see something different, they just don't bring the effort. They're not trying. And I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm pissed off with Rob not trying." Look, man, outside of AJ, did you see anybody else trying on that floor tonight? I didn't. Kind of Kostic.
Kostic in some spots, Boop and Dom and Kaba in some spots, but
yeah. So
yeah.
Anyhow, next year, Bruce Branch. Someone needs AJ Supertribe.
That's a deep Bruce cut.
Branch commits to BYU today. We put out the reaction pod. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. But it's kind of refreshing looking like, you dealing with this right now with, these terrible games and everything. And then seeing, okay, there is a lot, next year, maybe things are different. I think these portal pods are going to be very, very interesting. We're going to be doing, Chase, after they lose in the tournament.
I'll tell you what, right now, I'm very excited for them. I'm ready to get to that stage in the season. But of course, we'll be feeling sad. We'll be like 260 something odd days away from college basketball. We'll be feeling it all over again, and we'll talk ourselves into this season never happened.
I'll be honest, if they play like this in the round of 64 when it's time to turn it on and it's March Madness, if they put out a performance like this and don't try, I'm not going to feel bad at all. I'm going to be very happy that I don't have to watch that for 260 days.
Yeah. Man, the chat, you guys are killing me. This is really funny. Everyone's seeing hilarious. AJ. Everyone's seeing AJ around. It's pretty sweet. Let's start with this. We'll get into Bruce Branch a little bit later, but people have been asking this for weeks now, and we need to address this. I think it's time. We'll talk more about it, whatever. But right now, who would you want to stay for next season on the current roster? Karter Bond. I believe
you're putting me on the spot here.
Truthfully, I'll go ahead and start because I was talking to some people about this while the game was going. Truthfully, I think it's 4 players. I would like Robert Wright back on this team.
Yep.
I would like Alexis Kostic back on this team. I think he's been awesome, and he's turned into a legit shooter. I
have my 4 written down, by the way.
I would like Hadim Boop back on this team.
Yep.
I'm still on the Boop train. And I would like Xavier Staten to come back and give it some more development and time here with Kevin Young and Provo.
That's what I had.
As of this moment, that's really all I'm thinking, Carter.
Yeah, unless prove me otherwise. Prove to us why you belong on this team, why you should be on a national title contending roster.
Kozlowski, could he be something for this team? That is a potential future. Can I see him play basketball? Can he get healthy and stay on the floor? So far, no. Guys like Dawson Baker, would I love to have him back? I think he's awesome. I think for his sake, it's time for him to move on with his career. I have nothing against him.
It also just depends on how that knee heals. Like if he's back and it's fine, then that's okay. Nate Pickens, I do want to see, but like we just don't know.
Yeah. Nate Pickens, KJ Perry, these guys who we never saw. Obviously, we want to come back. But I'm talking about from right now. That is it. I think everyone else could probably, get going. Obviously, AJ goes to the draft. A lot of guys graduate and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it, man. Someone wants Ahmed back. Booth but only in the Cosmo costume.
Yeah, I had the same 4 written down. Pickens, KJ Perry, those guys go unsaid. I think that's an obvious given. And I think those guys, KJ Perry will be here. I believe Nate Pickens will be here as well. So there's nothing else about that. I have Boop as well. To be honest, though, I want Boop off the bench. Like, I think he can develop into that guy. I think he's going to earn a lot more minutes next year. But until, the offensive game develops a little bit more, I would like to see someone come in and play the 4 spot. Kostic, I think he's earned his spot for next season. I think he's a good enough shooter. Great guy to have off the bench, and you want to have that. Xavier, I want Xavier as a backup 5 because I think there is a lot there with Xavier. I think the coaching staff really likes him. I think there's something there. He's got to put on muscle. This is why you give him a year. Give him a year to build some muscle, get there and play in practices all the time, go body to body with Kaba and Ahmed and these guys. I think the red shirt was a really smart thing for his career where it's like, look, man, get that extra year, build up some muscle, and then let's rock and roll next season. I think there is a lot there with Xavier, especially with his height and his length as a backup 5 for next season. I don't think he should be the starting 5 going into next year. I think he's a year away from that. But as a backup 5, I think he's good enough. And I want Rob Wright back.
Yeah. People were having some conversations about Xavier. Look at his stats. Look, he was so young this season. He was just thrown right into the fire of college basketball. And that's definitely more of a flyer. He's not my most confident I want him back. But that's a top 50 guy in that class. I think it's important to keep those guys and develop and show other recruits that you can develop at BYU. And I think he's immensely talented. I mean, he could be an elite shot blocker and has more touch around the rim than the current rostered centers combined. And so that's more of a flyer. But so people talking about Boop. If Boop learns to just figure out what to do with the ball once he gets it in his hands, he's going to be an awesome player. Like an awesome, awesome basketball player. So that's it right now, folks. I don't really know. I mean, you really couldn't talk me into anyone else. The problem is, is that going to happen? Have they already made commitments to some of these guys? Looking at Ahmed, we'll find out. We'll see what happens.
We'll find out. BYU, since the Richie Saunders injury, is the 162nd ranked defense in the country, according to Mike Latoul, who's on the field of 68 after dark right now. And he said that feels high. Yeah, he was like that.
That is being generous.
It's just because of that one Iowa State game.
Yeah. And that's when they have that intensity. I like this. Biggest transfer we need is a new defensive coach, high key. Yes. We need a big, yeah, you're absolutely right. We need another center. We don't want Xavier to start. We need a starting center, though.
Kevin Young in the post game said, "My message to the guys is believe in them. Less than 2 weeks ago we beat Iowa State, who's a good basketball team, one of the best teams in the country. I think our confidence is a little bit shook right now as a group."
Yep. Yeah, I'd say so, Coach.
Yep.
I'd say so.
Yeah, I want a new starting five next year. I want not entirely like the whole lineup or everything. I want a new center. I think BYU has to go out and get a new center next year. I think it's very, 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 very important that they do that.
Yep, the Davis Nails at scoring center would be great. A center that can catch the ball and finish within 5 feet would be awesome for this BYU team, man.
I also think it's also going to be very critical what they do at the 2-guard spot. Let's say they bring Rob Wright back. What they do at the 2, they have to go out and they have to minimum this. They got to go get 2 lights out shooters, man. I know that's tough to find. I know, especially if you go into the mid-majors ranks and try to get a guy and bring him up into Power 5 basketball, how that a lot of guys don't adjust well to that. And some do, some don't. But you got to find dudes who can be lights out shooters. It can be kind of heat check guys. And I'm not saying they have to go out and they have to be able to create their own shot and do these crazy things, but a guy like Trevin Nell is out there for BYU where he can go make 5-6 threes a game. BYU doesn't truly have that right now, and they have it a bit in Alexi Kostic, but I don't think there's enough on the defensive end yet from him to warrant him being able to play for 25, 30 minutes.
I think you're absolutely right. It's funny how BYU's bread and butter for years, like even in the Dave Rose era, was just shooting. It was all these white members of the church who just, that was their specialty, man. They just shot the heck out of the ball. And then it all went away. You traded it for some dang good players, obviously, and the vibes shifted. But you gotta have shooting in all of college basketball. LeBron, Andrew says LeBron and Bryce James. See, that doesn't fix the shooting problem, Andrew. See, that's
no,
nor the defense. Someone had a good comment, bring it up. Scout team says, now that I think about it, we need a lot of things. And
yeah, I mean, because
you're right.
You're gonna lose AJ. Sorry to burst people's bubbles. You're gonna lose Kaba. And you obviously Richie and Boscovich will be gone after this season. And then you got a lot to replace to build up a bench and a starting 5.
Yeah. I want to bring up this point. 8 says, if you can communicate, they can solve 50% of the problem. This is to my point that we've brought up now, Carter, a few times. You can teach defense to anyone. If he's athletic and all these guys are, yes, you can 100% teach defense too. Offense, different story, but defense, anyone could play it.
That goes to a point too where I know I've given a lot of crap to these players on the effort side of things, and it hasn't been great, and that's fine. But once again, the lack of a plan going into these games, it feels like there's no scouting going on defensively, and there's no clear game plan right now. It feels like, I mean, nobody in this chat's going to freaking remember this, but it feels like I'm watching a Danny Manning Wake Forest team or the Kenny Payne Louisville teams. They would go into games and there's no plan. They're just going out and it's once again, one ball screen and nobody knows what they're doing off of that. Nobody.
They love to point, Carter. They're really good at pointing. They've got that down pretty well. Outside of that, it's not looking good. BYU Fanbro brings up a good point. We didn't talk about Rickert. I've heard it a million times, and I believe he's enrolling. I think there was maybe some thoughts that he was going to go serve a mission right out of high school. I don't believe that's the case.
He is not a mission kid.
I don't know if he's going to serve one at all, and that's whatever. That's none of our business. But
he'll be playing. Chase?
No, sounds like the exact opposite of what I just said. The exact opposite.
Chase, I don't know.
What are you talking about? Golly, not tonight.
Not tonight.
But he'll be a big addition to this team. Obviously, the local talent's really, really important to have. He's so right. Referring to the comment. But man, Tim Few had an awesome year. and shockingly got upset by, I think, Alta in like the second round. It was one of the biggest upsets in the history of Utah high school basketball, Carter. I kid you not. I still follow. And so that's a tough way for him to end the season. He was incredible. The stuff he does, shooting, the creation off the ball. Hopefully he can be that shooter for BYU and really stretch the floor. But even as man, Jack, all right, mods, ban this dude. Get this guy out of here. You guys, I'm getting clowned now. This is crazy. I didn't say anything. I'm trying to talk him up. He's going to be awesome at BYU.
Chase is like those old ladies at church that are whispering when someone comes home from the mission, or like, "Ooh, why is he home?" And they start gossiping and being like, "Ooh, what's going on there?"
Not at all. Not at all. What I'm doing.
Oh,
Jack,
I gotta
our Chili's
find
date is canceled.
I gotta find something to laugh about.
No, I'm happy to do it. I'm just messing.
I think Dean is going to be a piece. I don't think he'll be starting right away for next year, and that's okay. He's going to need time to develop.
If he can shoot, man.
We didn't have time to touch on this in the Bruce Branch pod. I am curious for next year where you watch teams like, Michigan, Arizona, Duke, these top teams right now where they don't have a ton of dudes who go, clear out, give them the ball, go get a bucket. Obviously, Duke has Cam Boozer, and he can do that in a way, but a lot of it is created for him with different actions and everything and getting it into the post and then him going to work. Next year with BYU, I wonder how much they stray away from the one-on-one stuff because I think that's going to be needed, and you're also not going to have a guy like AJ DeBanza that bails you out with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention at all to what
I know you're not. I know.
I'm reading the stupid chat. Can you repeat everything you just said? I'm crying.
You're good. We'll get. Hey, let me say this thing, and then we'll let this thing go off the rails for the final 10 minutes of the show. How about that?
Please.
Last thing about this BYU team, and then let's let this sucker fly. We can talk about anything tonight. Bruce Branch going into next year. Arizona, Duke, Michigan, they don't play a lot of one-on-one ball. A lot of the stuff is actions created for these guys and everything. I'm curious to see with Bruce Branch and a different team next year where you don't have guys like AJ or however the roster shakes up at this point. How reliant are they on one-on-one basketball? Because my hope would be that they stray away from it. There's a lot more actions. There's a lot more off-ball movement because I don't think, yes, Bruce Branch is a really talented player. I don't think he's going to be one of those top level guys like AJ to where you can clear out and say, go get a bucket, and he can bail you out in certain games like that. He's really talented. He can do that in spots, but he can't carry like AJ can. That's really tough to ask.
Yeah, I think what we talked about a little bit when he committed, and if you haven't listened to that pod, go listen our instant reaction to the commitment. The best part about Bruce Branch's game is how he is able to kind of do it all and fit everywhere. And he does it on both ends of the floor as well. But you're right. It's going to be a much more team-centered offense around moving the ball and hopefully shooting it well, like we kind of saw last year. A lot of that was due to Yegor Demon being such an elite facilitator, as well as Dallin Hall coming in behind him, doing the same thing, picking up right where he left off. So it's going to take a lot on KY to adjust this coaching staff, right? And change some things up and get the strategy, the X's and O's completely different for this team. Because as good as Bruce Branch is going to be, he's not an AJ replacement. He more fits around the rest of the team, a little bit more of an off-ball guy. He's going to win one-on-one in spots, and he can do that pull-up thing that AJ does. And he's got a really high release, a really, really sweet shot. But it's not going to be that. You're absolutely right. And so for BYU, it's going to be all about figuring out how to share the ball evenly and have everyone contribute.
And that's kind of the recipe for college basketball is you shouldn't have someone, you should not have to rely on someone doing that and bailing you out like that every single possession. So it's going to be interesting going into next year. And Adam Kelly, he made a great point right here where he said last year's team had no one who could go one-on-one, and we overcorrected this year with too much one-on-one. We need to go back to passers and movements and everything like that. And that's kind of the winning strategy. You watch like last year's Duke team with Cooper Flag, Concanipple, where you can fall into that trap because those guys are so talented, where it's like, all right, clear out, let Cooper Flag go to work. But that's actually what cost Duke a national title last year.
100%.
But you do need it in spots.
Bad breaks. That Duke team was so good. Yeah, I think this is a really good comment. Bruce Branch is more of a Richie replacement.
Ooh.
I think that's really well said. Not exactly, obviously, very different players, but more of a do-it-all for you kind of guy and shoot the three really well. But the stuff he can do off the dribble is better than what Richie can do.
And people are talking in the chat. It's like, okay, where's the leadership coming from next year? I think that's one reason I do want Dawson Baker back in some capacity. Even if he doesn't play a lot, just want someone that can just come back and, be in the system, have that continuity, because I think that kind of stuff does matter.
100%.
So,
100%.
All right, let's let this thing go off the ropes. Ask us anything. Ask us whatever. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun on this podcast. Let's close out the last 10 minutes.
Let's do it.
I'm done talking.
James is crashing out right now.
James is crashing out right now.
I need to text him.
James, hopefully James isn't drinking a harder beverage than what I've got going on.
Yeah, this Poppy really did it for me, though.
Chase, thoughts on Mason Falslev coming from Utah State?
I think he'd be an awesome fit. He's a guy that does bring that energy, does bring that intensity, and a formidable scorer in his own right. Doesn't shoot the three ball as well as you'd like for BYU, especially because a lot of his stuff comes from off the dribble. He likes to put it on the floor. But obviously, yeah, he'd be awesome for BYU. Could they tempt him and lure him to come? I don't know. Believe it or not, I have a fairly personal relationship with Mason Falslev. Dated my wife's best friend.
Oh, dated. Oh, you dated? Never mind. I'm not. Chase, address the allegations.
The heck? What? What allegations? I deny it all. PR just sent me a statement. Whatever it is you're claiming, denied. I did not do it.
I like this question. Are you picking BYU to lose first game in your bracket?
That's such a good question. By principle, no, I can't. But if for some of my main ones, I'm doing it for money. Depends on the matchup, man. Depends how they look over the next couple weeks. But yeah, probably. Yeah. James.
Yeah, it's a lame answer, but it is so matchup dependent right now. Like CBS right now has BYU playing UCLA. UCLA is actually kind of giving it to Nebraska right now. We're watching on Fox Sports 1. I don't know. I think I'd actually probably take UCLA. At this current moment, you'd have to take UCLA, but then this UCLA team has also looked broken. That's the funny part about all these 7, 8, 9, 10 seeds right here, where it's like all of these teams have looked extremely broken at points of the season. BYU's is just, at the worst time.
Yeah. H asking BYU will be in the tournament. I saw him ask it a couple times. Yeah, BYU's locked in. They're going to be in the tournament.
They'll be in the tournament.
Seed might drop to a 10 at this point, but they're it.
Shout out your PR team.
Shout them out. Hey, they're dang good, Alex.
Booth is saying putting NyQuil in my dirty Dr. Pepper tonight. Adam Kelly said, I had this question earlier, but do you want KY moving forward to lean more into high school recruiting with multiple 5-stars like Coach Cal, or keep one big star, 5-star, and add transfers around? I think this is an excellent question. I think we are seeing right now with teams, Michigan has done well with some transfers. Arizona and Duke right now, like Duke's really getting it done with the high school guys and doing it with their own guys. I think Duke's in its weird little category, though. I think that's tough.
That's Duke privilege.
It is Duke privilege, but at the same time, it's like you have to I think it's just having a mix of all of it. You do still have to high school recruit. You still have to go into the portal. You have to take advantage of every area in this aspect of recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, a combo is a little bit of a weak sauce answer because that's what everyone wants. And this is also a weak sauce answer where you got to also look at the recruiting classes. Like,
yeah,
this year nationally is a fairly weak class, but you got a blue chipper in Bruce Branch, which is really, really big. You got the local kid in Rickert. So those are kind of the two wins. And outside of that, like, I don't know if there's anyone that you're like, we're dying to have, or even like really close on. I know you missed out on Gooseby going to Texas and stuff, but this is a year more like you got to look for transfers, because as much as you value the freshman, what Duke's doing, they wouldn't be able to get it done without some veteran presence as well. And at this point in college basketball, that's the landscape, man. You've got to go out and get the transfers. You're not going to find a lot of like seniors that are going to stay all 4 years. It's only going to get worse and worse as it goes on.
CW's pointing out as well, Houston also does more high school than the portal as well. Alex Beach said, "Are we sure Duquesne isn't going to be in the field?"
You never know, man.
CJ Smith said, "If we get Nebraska in round 2, we're going to the Sweet 16. Any other matchup, we can pack our bags." That means you got to win in the round of 64. Like, if it's funny though, like if BYU rattled off a win against Texas Tech, and I'm not predicting that they will, they rattled off a win against Texas Tech, went 1-1 in the Big 12 tournament. Depending on what happens around them, they could end up being a 6 seed. Just how poor some of the resumes are around them right now. This is how it is.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. As ugly as it's been for all of us, we said this last time, the resume still isn't bad.
I love this question from Alex Beach. If you could put anything on the Big 12 glass court next week at the tournament, what would you put on it?
Oh, man.
I would probably put TJ Haas saying, "Shut the F up."
That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. What would y'all put? What would you put, Alex?
Yeah, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. A10 tournament in Pittsburgh may be the Dukes go run. Shout out the A10. I love the A10 tournament. I found out it was in Pittsburgh just like a week ago from Shoot the Rock. So shout out my guy. If we see a mid-major that hits threes, we're going to get blown by 30. Yeah, I'm curious because, too, it's like Miami of Ohio, if they go out and win the MAC, are they going to end up being a 10 seed? Could BYU end up in a 7-10 matchup against Miami of Ohio? The entire world is rooting against BYU at that point.
I'd be rooting against BYU at that point. Shoot the Rock asked, was like, Miami versus BYU. Who are you picking? I'm picking
BYU.
Oh,
I'm picking BYU.
I pick Miami. They're the ultimate like story, right? Cinderella, all this stuff. All right. You see what you did, Jack?
Yeah.
He's ruined my reputation with the chat.
Show me Carter's church ball highlights on that glass court. I won't be playing next week, but 2 weeks from now, maybe we'll have to get a highlight tape out there.
That's good. Clip of Mark Pope getting the $25K fine. That's pretty good.
Let's go. Shout out Shoot the Rock. He's going to be at the A10 tournament. I love it. Chase, let's get some final chats in here, and then let's wrap up. And we will have our Texas Tech preview out in the next day or so, and then we'll be live after Texas Tech as well. And then it's Big 12 tournament time, Chase.
Yeah, season's not over, even though it feels like it is.
Yeah, but
very much so.
Anyhow, chat's dying out, so we'll wrap up here. Make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe. Field of 68 Podcast Network on the YouTube channel, at Church Ball Pod and everything, at Chase_Rogers0, at Karter B8. We'll be back. Make sure to follow. You guys know the drill, at Church Ball Pod, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Love you guys.